Welcome to this special edition of HBCU Game Day Talks. Today we have two very special gentlemen with us. Of course, the talk of FAMU moving from the MEAC to the SWAC. Lately, it's all been about football, but there are some amazing sports in the SWAC, particularly baseball. And we have the head coach of Alcorn State University, Brett Richardson, and FAMU's head coach, Jamey Shouppe. Both have been very successful. Both have worked together. And we're just going to talk to them today about the move from FAMU, from the MEAC to the SWAC. And we'll start out with the home team guy in the SWAC, Brett. Brett, when you first heard that FAMU would be making a transition to the SWAC, what were your thoughts?
Listen, honestly, Vaughn, first of all, I want to say thank you for having myself and Jamey on this HBCU Game Day. This is going to be a blast, and I'm so looking forward to it. But immediately, my first thoughts to it were, it was a move I felt like that was long overdue. FAMU and over the years, have had some pretty good rivalries with some schools within the SWAC conference, with Jackson State, Southern University, Grambling State. I just feel like now with Alcorn State, us being the top dog in football. I think that rivalry is going to grow in that regard. So, to me, it was a move that was long overdue. I think it's a move that's going to be beneficial for both parties, for FAMU as well as the SWAC conference. And so, I'm just looking forward to it. I can't wait.
And Coach Shouppe, I want to throw that same question to you. You're the one making the move. And just like Brett said, FAMU has often played many teams in the SWAC during the year, Alabama State to be added. Just talk about your excitement about the move, Coach.
Hey, well, first of all, echo what Brett said. We're excited, and thanks for posting this for us. But did y'all catch the nervousness and the scared in his voice about us coming to the SWAC, man? Did y'all catch that? Unbelievable, No, in all seriousness, man, we're excited. I think the whole FAMU community, certainly the university, is excited about the move. Travel-wise, it makes sense. As Brett said, it's long overdue. The baseball aspect of it for us is a challenging one because, MEAC baseball is good, so is SWAC baseball, but I think the depth of the SWAC speaks a little more loudly than it does in the MEAC. So you're going to have to be prepared. Brett and I have talked off record a little bit about the potential of this, and I think it'll help us recruiting. They play 10 straight weeks of conference play, which I think is great. You schedule 3 non-conference weekends, and then you got your 10 conference weekends to follow, which concludes the season. So, man, we're not only baseball, but I think the whole FAMU university, the whole FAMU community is excited about the move. I think it's going to be great for fans as much as anybody, to be able to travel. They don't have to get on the bus or get on a plane and travel 16 hours to Norfolk, Virginia to see to follow the Rattlers. They can easily jump in a car and go, to Alcorn State, which is what, Brett, 6 hours away.
Right.
They're all doable trips. At least the Eastern Division of the SWAC, which I'm pretty sure, and Brett maybe can speak to this a little bit more, I'm pretty sure they'll keep the East and Western divisions. Is that what you're hearing, Brett?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. We had actually had a vote, a conference vote before the whole coronavirus thing came into play, to do away with the East and West conference division. We wanted to play everybody. The coaches had voted on that, the ADs had voted on that, and the only vote that was left was up to the presidents. But I think with everything that's happened, they've kind of tabled that vote to next year. So we'll go back to East and West for this year. Not sure about moving forward what we're going to do, but we would like to as coaches, one of the main things we talked about was being able to play everybody if we could, and then just take the top 6 teams, however it shook out, at the end, and move on to the conference tournament. So,
have you heard where the conference tournament? Where is it usually? It's usually in New Orleans, right?
Well, this year it was slated to be in Jackson and Smith-Will Stadium, an old minor league park. I think of the New York Mets, if I'm not mistaken.
That was Omar. Omar worked that out, didn't he?
But no, it was a good facility, and if I'm not mistaken, I think in 2021 Conference USA is moving their tournament to Smith-Will Stadium as well. So it's a win-win for everybody. By moving the conference tournament there, Commissioner Dr. McClellan was able to guarantee us the conference, I think about $150,000 to move the tournament there. This would have been the first year, had we played the conference tournament there, this would have been the first year in a long time, or maybe even ever, if I'm not mistaken, that we would have actually made money on the conference tournament as opposed to losing money, which we've done, I know for a fact, the past 4 years by having the conference tournament in New Orleans. So we were pretty excited about it, but unfortunately, we didn't get an opportunity to play, but we are looking forward to it in the future, though.
And talking about the MEAC and SWAC, how they compete, Coach Shouppe, this past year when FAMU and Southern won their conferences, they played together to try to prepare for the NCAA tournament. Just talk a little bit about that, Coach.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've played Brett every year, at least 3, sometimes 4 games since Brett's been at Alcorn State as a head coach there. We play Alabama State every year. We play Jackson State probably, 4 or 5 of the 7 years I've been here this year, since I've been here. And then we played Southern, as you mentioned. As you know, the MEAC and both SWAC are, I think, the only 2 conferences that play their conference tournament a week earlier and then have to wait 2 weeks before the regional tournament, the winners of those tournaments. So we just met over in Pensacola at the Blue Wahoo Stadium over there, which is a beautiful, beautiful facility, and played 2 7-inning scrimmages, basically. And it was great. They do such a good job. Carrick does over there, Carrick Jackson, with Southern baseball. And again, it goes back to what I said, man. I know Brett. I know what he's done with this program. We play Jackson State. I know Omar does a great job there. Jose at Alabama State does a great job. Carrick does a great job with Southern. But we played all those teams, so there's some familiarity there that makes us feel really good about joining this conference, man. We're from a baseball, man. From a baseball standpoint, man, I couldn't be more excited for us moving forward. Again, it'll help us because we're going to have to be better to win a SWAC championship, and I think we realize that, which means we're going to have to recruit better. And it just gives you a little more concern, which hopefully spurs you on to a little more action in terms of recruiting and getting your clubs ready to play.
Now, Coach Shouppe, I'm going to stick with you right quick. I want to ask both of you all a similar question. 5 years ago, Brett was on the FAMU coaching staff, and we had a monumental game up at Fenway Park, a little park people may have heard of. Just talk about your memories of that weekend in Boston.
Go ahead, Brett.
Go ahead with Brett. We'll start with Brett.
Okay, so that was a great weekend. That's a weekend that I know for sure that I'll never forget, and I'm sure all the players that all the players, and I mean by coaches, players, umpires, fans who participated, they won't forget that as well. But I'm just going to, again, this is just us talking, so I'm going to be candid. I was talking to Coach.
No, everybody's hearing this, Brett. It ain't just us, man.
So Coach Shouppe is talking. Man, listen, for anybody who knows Jamey is stickler. I'm talking about for making organization, being organized, making sure things go. And it seemed like everything that could go wrong that trip did go wrong. And, from the airplane ride to the situation in the hotel to playing at Jim Rice Park and then having the bus to Pawtucket, Rhode Island to play. And, I mean, he was like, I'm done. Like, I would never – I don't care what they're saying. I would never do this again. So we get to that Saturday, and we playing in Fenway Park. And the game before on the atmosphere, the fans, the whole nine, he looks at me and says, Brett, I know what I told you, but screw that, man. If they ask me incredible atmosphere. And like I said, I've been to a few major league parks, and I don't, again, I've been coaching baseball for over 20 plus years. Jamey, I'm sure longer than I have. I know he has, but I don't get nostalgic about a whole lot of things. But being in Fenway Park and having the opportunity to, to look up and see the Green Monster and actually go inside of the Green Monster and, to see the names of people, the athletes that have signed that scoreboard who've been in there, man, it was just, I was in shock. I was in awe, and not only to have that moment happen, but to go in there and to win, to sweep all 3 games, and the magnitude of sweeping those 3 games, I think it put us in first place, if I'm not mistaken, at that time, in the South Division. So everything that happened with that was a great weekend, and it's a weekend that I'm gonna cherish. It's a weekend that I still talk about, So that's something that I'm gonna really have with me for the rest of my life.
Well, Coach Shouppe, same question. You said you wouldn't go back. Was it that bad?
Oh, Brett don't know what Brett makes up stuff, man. I want to show you something though. Can you see that?
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys can see that. Vaughn Wilson took that picture, man, and framed it and gave it to the coaching staff. Probably didn't give one to Brett because he was leaving us. But I treasure that, man. It's in our all. I mean, it was unbelievable for the guys. Just a great opportunity. Vaughn, you were with us. You know how the excitement the kids had. And we were able to sweep that weekend. We won the 2 games at Pawtucket and then won the game there on that Saturday. And you're right. I was done, man, after – I mean, it was freezing, too, Friday night when we played that doubleheader at Pawtucket. I know Brett don't like cold. He'll tell you that. So,
I think there were about 6 people in the stands.
yeah. Our president was one of them at the time, too. Yeah. So and she was tough. She stuck it out. But I tell you what, too, Vaughn, and one more thing, too, before I get to that. I remember Coach Henry, my pitching coach, looked at me and said, Coach, I'm going to go out and talk to the pitcher. Can I carry my cell phone and take a selfie while I'm out there? That's just how exciting everybody was, including the coaches. But here's something, too, that people don't realize. Brett's wearing that gosh awful purple color right now, and that season and that game put us in first place and probably had a lot to do with Brett getting his opportunity there at Alcorn State, because that same year we went into the MEAC tournament as the number 1 seed. Umpires just don't make sense sometimes. So they decided to, in the crucial game, I think it was against Savannah State, they decided to put me in the bleachers for a little while. In other words, I got tossed from the game. Brett took over the coaching duties. By the way, I was right, wasn't I, Brett? Umpires were wrong. You know that. But they decided to relieve me of my head coaching duties that game. Brett took over and brought us from a comeback win against Savannah State, which propelled us into the game that led to the championship game and all. So has a lot to do with him wearing that purple and gold right now. That season did. So it was a fun season. Fenway certainly was a highlight as well as the MEAC championship. Where was that at, Brett? That was up north or?
Maryland. That's where we were.
Okay, yeah.
That was in Salisbury, Maryland. I remember it very well. And also, I'd like to say this, and I hope neither one of you guys get offended. But my biggest takeaway from Fenway was before I ever got in the stadium. I mean, the game was great to see Ryan, to see Barlow hit one off of the Green Monster and to see Brian hit one off across the Green Monster. That was great. But I'm telling you, before the game, Joe Bullard and I are walking in Fenway, and who but Jim Rice is standing there. We have a 30-minute conversation with Jim Rice. So by the time the game started, I was done already. I mean, Jim Rice, one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet, was there. So that made for a very special weekend. Just like all of you, it was a tough weekend Friday, and getting in and practicing at Boston College, having to practice at Boston College and all those things. But as people are watching this footage, it was an experience that I will never, ever forget.
Hey, Vaughn, you documented it very well, too. If you get a chance, I think it's still on our website. You can go to our website and pull that up, just the Fenway experience. And Vaughn, I mean, you've done great work. That's probably some of your best work ever. So if you get a chance, fans, pull that up. It's fun to watch. Okay,
so now as we are preparing to start the fall season, and amidst this COVID pandemic, what adjustments have you had to make, both of you? I'll start with Jamey. What adjustments have you all had to make to prepare for possibly fall ball, but hopefully spring ball?
Well, there's still a lot of unknown, unfortunately. And obviously the first and foremost thought is with the student athlete well-being, health. So there's a lot we don't know. Hopefully we're going to have baseball in the fall, and hopefully we have it in spring. There's not a whole lot to do right now. It's just kind of sit back and wait. We're not allowed to go recruiting until August 1st. Hopefully, I know they've extended that through July 31st. So hopefully August 1st we'll be able to get out and kind of look at it, start recruiting for next year. So that's kind of been on hold, other than with our computers online and with our telephone calls. So it's just a weird time, man. It's a weird sensation. My wife, she don't even like to be around me. I can't watch any sports on TV right now. I'm never a lot of fun, but I'm certainly no fun now with those sports, no baseball to watch. I mean, I'm watching reruns of past College World Series on TV. Just miss it. And more than that, and I know Brett will echo this as well, I miss the camaraderie with the student athletes, man, the guys. We coach for a reason. We love the game, but we also love these kids, man, love these young men that come in and they entrust their baseball careers and their academic careers to us. So I just miss that as much as anything. Just, it's addictive, man. Brett will tell you that. It's just being around the guys and trying to set an example and be a person they can look up to and kind of help guide them in the right directions with the help of their parents and their teachers and the people here at FAMU. That's what I miss more than anything. Brett?
Okay, Brett, same question. How are you preparing and how are things different amid COVID-19?
Well, first of all, I want to, send my condolences to Karen because I know if she's got to deal with it. But no, on a serious note, it is like Jamey said. It's a lot of unknown. We in the SWAC and then Jamey, I don't know if you guys in the MEAC have had some conference calls, but we probably had 2 or 3 as SWAC baseball coaches. With the last one we had being probably about 3 weeks ago, we actually got a chance to get Dr. McClellan on. And, and what we're trying to do as coaches is trying to be proactive. We understand that there are going to be some cuts. We understand there are going to be some decisions that have to be made. But we want to try to make sure we get, in front of things instead of, reacting to what is, has been said or will be said. And one of the things that Dr. McClellan shared with us, he was very, very, again, transparent. That, all the conversations have been about the fall sports, been about football, been about basketball, been about soccer, been about, volleyball. So because, again, trying to understand where we're going to go, how all of this is going to look once we allow the kids back on campus. So, there hasn't been a whole lot of conversation said about baseball. So, again, like Jamey said, we're just kind of playing the wait and see game, and we hope like heck that, we can get back and we can have a fall season, fall practice schedule where we can get the kids back on here. Because it is. We don't, I know I don't. I can't speak for Jamey. I think FAMU paying them pretty good. But we don't make a whole lot of money doing this. So we do it for the love of the game. And we do it because, how we can shape young men's lives and, that type of thing. And right now, we aren't able to do that. We try to have Zoom meetings with our kids. We try to have, telephone calls where we reach out to them. But, not to be able to physically, be there with them and put your hands on them and kind of guide them a little bit. It's been a little tough. So hopefully, once everything kind of, opens back up with the whole pandemic thing, we're looking forward to getting these kids back on campus again.
And as we move forward, I'd just like to open the floor up. This is as we close out. Whatever thought is on your mind as we close out, FAMU getting ready to head a little west, and some far west, to join the Southwestern Athletic Conference, leaving the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. I'm going to ask you first, Brett. Brett, you were a coach and a player in the MEAC. Just talk about your final thoughts of what you're looking for with FAMU joining the SWAC conference.
Well, again, I had a conversation yesterday with Jose Vasquez. Jamey know him, good friend of ours, head coach at Alabama State. And, Jose and, now Jamey will as well once he comes into the conference. He will have the pleasure of coaching both conferences, the MEAC and the SWAC. And, we talked about the differences between the conferences, with the MEAC being a more pitcher-friendly conference. They rely a lot more on pitching, whereas in the SWAC, man, it's a more athletic conference. And this is a conversation that Jamey and I have had. And, they get after it a little bit more in the SWAC. And it's a more physical conference from an offensive standpoint. So, listen, adding FAMU into the conference is only going to make us better as a conference as a whole. We're looking forward to it, and we want them to understand, though. Jamey's my friend, and listen, I hope nothing but the best for him. But you can bet your bottom dollar. And if I'm not mistaken, Jamey, the times that we played, we split those games in half, if I'm not mistaken. So, again, I'm trying to beat him every single chance I get when I play Florida Agriculture Mechanical University. And I'm sure he feels the same way when he plays me. So it'll be even more. It'll mean even more now, being in the same conference, that these games will have more meaning. And so that's what we're looking for. So we're excited about having him in, and I wish him well when he's not playing us. But once he line up against this purple and gold, we're trying to put it.
All right, Coach Shouppe, you get the last word. I mean,
you're still hearing the fear in his voice, aren't you? I mean, I have no doubt. He had to bring it up. So, no, one thing Brett has told me, and some other guys, Jose has mentioned this as well. The leadership in the SWAC is something I'm looking forward to. Dr. McClellan, I can't wait to meet him. Brett has spoke so highly of him and the organization that he has. Brett mentioned I'm a stickler for organization and just doing things the right way. And so I'm looking forward to being in the SWAC under the leadership of Dr. McClellan. That's great. Just excited, man. I think, again, the whole university is excited. It's not just baseball. Obviously, we're talking about baseball today, but it's just the smart move, I think, for the MEAC, for FAMU to leave the MEAC. Not that there's anything wrong with the MEAC. MEAC's been good, and FAMU's been good for the MEAC. But I just think it's a smart move. There are rivalries that already exist. There's me being familiar with Brett, playing them over and over again since he's been at Alcorn State, Jose at Alabama State, Omar at Jackson State, even playing Kendrick last year at Southern, at Southern last year. So we're excited about it, man. I think, it's not just baseball. It's everybody that's excited. Can't wait. We got a season to go through first, but I can't wait to look back on this several years from now and just, see more friendships develop, see the conference get better, hopefully with us joining the conference, and just continue to see good college baseball and our kids come in and take advantage of all the opportunities the SWAC will give us.
Well, awesome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Before we leave, I'd be remiss if I did not mention I had a great conversation with Derek Horn and when FAMU was just joining the SWAC, and he said it was a no-brainer when it came to him as Director of Athletics of Alcorn. And, of course, Courtney Gaucher has been a gem in his efforts to move FAMU from the MEAC to the SWAC, and we wish both of those guys great success in their future endeavors leading athletic departments through these trying times. But,
hey, Vaughn?
Yes.
I don't know if you have time, but
yes, go for it.
Brett mentioned this. This has been spoke of several times in the past, in years past. It took the leadership of Courtney Gaucher to get us into the SWAC, and I think he needs to be commended for that and recognized for that, because I think this is going to be great, not only a fiscal move, but as I said, just from the fans' perspective move for FAMU, baseball for FAMU University. So
if we're going back to Courtney, we cannot talk about Courtney without Keith McClooney, who was the Deputy Athletic Director at FAMU, Courtney's right-hand man, and of course, Corey Lockley. They all three worked together on this effort to make it happen from their end. So you're right. It was something talked about for years, but those three together combined to actually make it happen. And just as the trustee who is the FAMU SGA president, Xavier McClendon said when the word got out, the student body on social media, it lit up. It's a natural move. And just as Coach Shouppe said, there is nothing wrong with the MEAC. It was just a better fit for FAMU. So as we look forward to SWAC baseball coming up in 2021, FAMU on its way to join the SWAC, and baseball will be hot. For HBCU Game Day Talks, I'm Vaughn Wilson.